Can you guess what show it is? It's First Look, it's Sunday, it's the weekend. Hi everyone, how are you? Hopefully you're having a good weekend. Weather's been good for you. It's quite mild up here, up north, which is lovely. And I love a First Look show because it's where you get that sneaky peek, where you can come in, have a look at what we've got coming up this week. Now, we've got the most amazing lady in the building. I always love working with her. We've had a bit of a giggle last night and a catch up at the house. And she's in this morning, raring to go, or should I say, roaring to go. See what I said? So, roaring 20s.
It's absolutely brilliant. I love that. She's just so on point all the time, isn't she? So on point. No, this is absolutely fantastic. If you love this, you know, that 20s feel, that Art Deco, that decadent, absolutely brilliant. It feels fun. With all, when you see the ladies and the gents we've got in the collection, you get that feeling of fun, and the papers are amazing.
I know. I was flicking through them last night on my stories. I put it on Instagram because the paper pad is truly just beautiful. I know we say that about all the paper pads. This one's very different because it really has that geometric shapes in it. It has that roaring 20s feel about it. I was just saying earlier, I love this collection.
You do?
Absolutely love it. There is some beautiful elements. As with all Sara's collections, you know that you're getting something to match every single component, from the paper pad to the ribbons to the block cardstock. And also, I know Shelley was raving about it yesterday, there is some amazing patterned acetate in here, which is really heavyweight. In fact, I think it's heavier weight.
350 GSM.
350 GSM, so it is. It's heavier weight than our normal construction acetate, and it's beautiful. It's all gold foiled. It's absolutely amazing. Shall we have a look at the boards and see exactly what we've got? So look at this. I mean, yeah. Oh, so before we start on the boards, just to let you know that the full collection is going to be available this week. You haven't got to wait long. So on the 14th, so Valentine's Day, bringing a new collection. Corinne's going to be down at Hobby Maker, and then on Crafters TV, our Sara's going to be bringing you it on Wednesday the 15th. So you're going to love that. But look at these different things that we've got. The fancy feather. I love this one. I think it's so beautiful. It's a bit different to any other feather dyes I've seen out there. Just gorgeous. Look at this. I mean, this just screams. The detail of this is so roaring 20s. I absolutely love that one. But also what I love about this, because of the way they've done it, it's almost quite sort of seaside-ish. If you put your mermaid dyes and stamps on there, I think it would work like that. So quite nautical. I adore this. I think this is my favourite dye. This is absolutely stunning. Now, it's a creator card dye. You know how good we are at creator card dyes at Crafters Companion. It's absolutely amazing. And actually, just while I've got this one here, I'm going to bring this in. Look at this. Oh, no, I'm going to take that away. This one. Oh no, it's not that one either. I'm not even going to show you. Ignore me, it's this one. Corinne's got the other one to show you, but this one here, let me bring in this box. Look how cool this box is, with that couple dancing inside. Absolutely incredible. And I'm giving you a sneak peek of the papers there. And by the way, that is going to be a blog post, so you'll be able to follow that. We've then got stamp sets on here, so all that jazz. Such a beautiful design, and obviously all your sentiments, but look how they're all done. That composition of them, the actual font on them, that roaring 20s is really spoken to you in these sentiments. And this is the pad I was talking about. Look, this is your acetate. Can you believe that's acetate? But look, you can see how thick that is. Really thick acetate. You're going to be able to do so much with them. You're getting them in all those different, three sort of different patterns on there. Then with any Sara signature, you would expect to have your ribbons, so beautiful coloured ribbons there. More stamp sets are available in here. You're together forever, and your raise a glass, so something for everybody. There's also an amazing embossing folder on here, but it's a cut and emboss folder, so it's going to create that aperture, and then another beautiful 3D embossing folder with that. Now, the colour tones of this paper pad, I'm going to show you the block colours to start with. You can see it's got that real sort of darkness about it, but those beautiful, really deep colours, those aubergines and those dark greens and blues, absolutely beautiful. Now, the paper pad really is spectacular. You can see here it is double-sided, so look at these papers, amazing. You've got just the most opulent designs there, beautifully toned with all those different colourways, those plums, those teals, those blues. It is so pretty. And we've also got a 6x6 paper pad that is just sort of shrunk down in those same colour tones, all gold foiled and absolutely beautiful. Now Corrine's got some samples that she's going to show of these, because it really does sort of scream as much as how beautiful this collection is.
It is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. So I've got a lovely little box. And again, we've got the construction acetate on 2 of the sides. We've got normal acetate on 2 of the other sides as well. Using those gilding flakes in there that you're going to get as well. You know, to get a collection with acetate and gilding flakes, you know, you're getting your ribbons. Absolutely brilliant. And I love, you know, the hint of those little bits of paper. Looks stunning, doesn't it? Now, you can go with such different colourways with this collection, and that's what I love about that. So that just stands up, there we go, stands up like that. Isn't that lovely? So you've gone from the blacks to the lovely pinks, and then you can go to the blues or teals if you want to. Look at the depth of the emboss on that embossing folder. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? To me, though, I struggle to do any demos without using the feather. I just kept putting the feather in because I just love it so much. Like you say, we've not had a feather of that proportions before.
It's amazing, isn't it? That embossing folder, has that been coloured with alcohol pens? What is that? How is that coloured? That's beautiful. I thought it was the acetate first of all.
It's gilding waxes, that's all, I think. Yeah, I think it's just gilding waxes on it.
Wow, absolutely amazing. I love that. So beautiful. Right, let's have a look here. Who's in this morning? Lots of names popping up. Cindy's in saying hello. She's from Victoriaville, CA. Excited to see what you are showing. Well, it's all new. It's that first look, which is amazing. Debbie Cantwell is in this morning from Brighton in Michigan. We've got Sarah Brown in. Hello, Sarah from Australia. Georgianne in saying hi Debbie and Corrine and all the team from Clearwater in Florida. Lynn is in saying hi from West Yorkshire. Lois is in from Ohio, Lois. Zoe is in from West Sussex. Kathy is in from Missouri. Julie is in saying good morning, absolutely love the Roaring Twenties, so she's so excited for this one. We've got Laura in saying hello to the crew from Seattle. Sue King is in from on YouTube, who's saying this collection will go with the older, all that jazz stamps. Yes, absolutely. How nice is that? And Laura's saying, what is with me and feathers? I think that's exactly what Guru was saying. What's with her and feathers? It is that feather dye that's just going to be used so many times. And Laura Simmons on Facebook is saying, oh my God, I will have to be buying a bunch of that paper. Absolutely. These are the paper pads that are going to sell out. I really think they are, because they are truly amazing. Right, are we going to look at this first demo?
We are.
Absolutely.
We
Lovely.
are. Right, now I'm going to use this Showgirl. So this is that lovely die. Now if you look on here, you see the cutting blade breaks out in a few places. So that means it will cut into your cardstock. So what we've also given you is we've given you a frame. Put the two together, it'll cut out, use it on its own, and it's going to cut into your cardstock. So they've thought of everything. So I've got a piece of card here, and I'm going to pop my Showgirl just there. Let's line her up. Then I'm going to put my tape. So all these bits are going to cut out, so let's make sure we put the tape on a little bit of waste. And then I've got the scallop shell. This is the one we were raving about. Absolutely beautiful. With a little bit of tweaking, you can make it a repeating die as well. So I have done that on one of my demos. I'm going to pop that on here. No reason why you can't use 2 dies in one go, especially as I'm taping them down. And when I tape them down, I know they're not going to move at all. So let's put our plates over. Normal plates, cutting plate, magnetic shim, plastic shim, and my second cutting plate. Absolutely normal plate combinations. And this will then cut through here. Now, just because it's Roaring Twenties, don't be afraid of the white, using white card, you know, white space. Oh, right, I just need, I'm going to actually see if I can turn that round a little bit because it's not quite cut all the way through. I think that's because I'm doing it widthways. So can I get it I'm going to try it that way through and see. Sometimes it just needs to run down the parallel bit. So let's go. Not a problem. It really doesn't hurt to cut it through twice because it's an electronic die cutting machine. I don't mind cutting things twice.
I think also with adding 2 dies, it makes those more cutting points across the top.
Yeah.
So, but like you say, it doesn't take long at all, does it?
Just perfect. Every little bit has popped out.
That is so beautiful.
Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And then you can then cut out all the other little bits. Now, what I've done next is I've cut it out again out of that linen card, and I've just popped it.
Nice.
So I've got a drop shadow. I've just glued that together so that you could see, but doesn't that make it really pop? And again, just made it a little bit bigger so that it fits. If it's easier, cut the girl and the shell and then cut the outside afterwards so that you can trim it down to the right size.
I love that.
And then I'm going to go in with, I had to do it, Debbie, with the gorgeous fancy feather. We had to use that.
It is a beautiful die, isn't it?
It really is. Now, this will cut out of so many different mediums. It really is perfect. You can see these are new ones in the studio. They've not been taken off the backing sheets. There we go. Right, so let's go first with some of that linen cardstock. We can cut that first. Let's pop that one on. Oh, need a piece of tape. There we go. I'm going to pop it on there. And then make sure I've got all the bits gone, and then we can run that through. Let's go that way around. There we are. Run that one through first. Now that will go, you know, as you can see, everything I'm doing here is on my Gemini Junior plates. So if you have only got a smaller die cutting machine, your Gemini Junior, your MIDI, everything that I've done so far is going to work perfectly. And this is why I love die cutting. Look at that. Every edge is beautifully curved. Absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that lovely?
That is going to be a very popular die,
it is. I think it is. And then let's just take it next and put it on. Oh, look, I've got bits in. Now, people often say their dies don't cut out first time. That's because sometimes dies aren't cleaned between uses. Now, all I saw I did is I tapped it on the back. Make sure it's always the back you tap it onto, not the front. And all the bits pop out. If you don't clean your dies out, like I nearly didn't do with that, it's not the die's fault if it doesn't cut first time. That's because there's paper in that die, in there, so the die can't embed into the cardstock like it needs to do to cut. So, take seconds to clean it, but when people say to me it's not cutting properly, I always say, just check your die. Just check it now. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Amazing.
So what you can do is you can either just go in with a little bit of a drop shadow, if you get the bits so they don't all tangle up. Look at that there. There we go. Can you just see? Oh, it moved as I picked it up. Just have it the tiniest little bit showing. Looks gorgeous. Or you can go and have them so it looks like multiples. So actually what I've got here is I've got another one. So what you could do is you could go like that, almost making a fan of your feathers. Beautiful, isn't it?
Very nice.
Now, I'm going to bring this together really quickly. So if I could say to you anything else you needed to buy when you're getting this collection, is go and look for some mirror card, some gold mirror card.
Yep.
I think I put it into every demo that I prepared. You're going to, if you haven't got a mirror card, go look on our website and make sure that you've picked up some mirror card, because you're going to get through quite a lot of it, I promise you. With all the gold emboss on both the paper pads and the acetate, you're going to want the gold mirror. So pop those on first, and then look at that. I mean, you've got this, isn't that lovely? Or I like this side. This is the side I want to use. I love that. You look at it and you're like, what shape is that? It's just beautiful. You're going to struggle to decide which side of the papers to use.
This reminds me of the paper pad from the Masquerade.
Yeah.
Because that had the same, I just didn't know which side to use.
Yeah.
Because both sides are so beautiful.
There we go. So look at that. As soon as you put that on there, it just lifts it. If you want to, just trim out. You could have quite easily have taken out some of that gold mirror from the centre so that, you don't waste it behind there. And then that looks beautiful. Now, I love it when you get your sequins in with this collection, and in here we've got that massive bag of sequins. So I have used plain acetate on this. I've not used the gilded, just because I thought, because I've got the pattern behind, I thought I didn't need it. Now, this is often how I do my my shakers. I sort of double acetate them, because then I find whatever I've got in there, I know it's definitely sealed, but also the sequins are sliding against acetate and acetate. I find that if they go against paper, sometimes they catch. You get them a lot more free-flowing. So I often just do my shakers just like that. And then it's about putting it onto the card base. So you can see I've just used some red liner tape there. I've only put it on one side for some reason. Usually I double liner tape it up ready, so we can put that. So this liner tape didn't have to meet all the way around, because obviously you sealed it already with that foam, and that's the most important thing when you're doing a shaker, is to make sure it's a sealed unit so that nothing falls out. And then look at that, doesn't
that's beautiful.
Look beautiful? So let me just see if there's any more red liner tape here. Yep, there is. I like this width. This is a good width one. This is the, what do you call it? About
6 millimetre.
Is that 6 mil? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we do a 3, 6 and a 12.
Yes, that's the 6. So I can put a bit on here. Now, I don't need to worry about putting any foam tape behind the scalloped edge, because this has got enough construction behind it to hold it up for me. You know, that's not going to dip at all. And again, having that little bit of height behind that scallop almost helps the light, you know, shine through.
Yes.
It really, really works.
Yeah, I can see
take
that.
one and, oh, no. Why is it sometimes this super sticky? It releases its backing and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Right, now, I could go straight in, but I think let me just make sure I've got it the right way up. Just double check, yeah, it's worth checking. I'm gonna pop that just at a little angle, just because I just think it looks even nicer.
I like a jaunty angle.
Yes. Right, let's bring in a little piece of card now, and then we can come in with our stamps. There we go. There we are. So we can just. Oh. We're in the 20s now. What are the 20s going to be called this time round? Because we're in the 20s again, aren't we? We're in 2022. 2020s, not 1920s.
Yes.
So what are they going to call the 20s this
so we had the
time?
Roaring 20s and the Raging 20s.
Are you out raging, are you, Debbie? Every weekend?
Every weekend. Every night, Corinne. That's a good question, actually. Let's rename the 20s, yes. Amazing. So, yeah, someone has just said that, Lillian has just said it was 100 years ago. It's quite scary to think that, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Now, look at that. Look at how perfectly that stamps. Isn't that absolutely
That is amazing.
Gorgeous. Just pop it again. Pop it on a little bit of gold. Works beautifully. And then I'm going to pop that here. Looks a little bit plain at the moment, but then what we can do is we can come in with our feathers. So I'm just going to pop up a little bit of glue there to build up and a little bit just there. And then we can pop our feathers in. So I'm going to pop one on. All the time remembering, do you notice I come off the edges very often, but never off the bottom, because then your card will continue to stand up. Put your second one on, then I'm going to put my third one on, just like that, not covering up my lovely lady. And then I can come in with this here. Now, you've got ribbons, you've got all sorts in the kit, but I'm not going to, because I think we've got enough there with the sparkle behind that. Isn't that absolutely lovely?
It is so stunning, and actually the simplicity of this collection, I think you've summed up in this beautiful demo. Thank you, Corrine, because it is absolutely amazing. So gorgeous. You're all loving it. Everyone's saying so. Anna Marie is saying that, morning ladies, I've been waiting for this since seeing it on HSN and I cannot wait to purchase it on Wednesday. Zoe's in saying the paper pads are far too nice to use. Definitely have to get an extra one to keep and stroke. I agree, absolutely. Betty's saying, I love this collection. I got the collection when it was on HSN. I need more of that amazing paper pad. I think that's what's going to happen. You'll have the collection and you'll want to come back for those paper pads. So get them while you can when they come out. Dawn is saying, oh, you could use the peacock collection with this also. I have all of those ideas going on already. Absolutely. And remember, there will be a showstopper. So we always do a really good showstopper with Sara on Wednesday. Lillian's saying it's hard. Oh, I've read that one. So 100 years. That's amazing. Deborah is saying this looks like a very fun collection. That's exactly what Corrine was saying at the beginning. It is a really fun collection. And Sarah's Creations is saying, I've been doing my shakers this way, Corrine, since you showed us last time. Excellent tip. Yes, and if anyone wants to learn how to make those shakers, although I think we've all done them in our time, Michelle did do one yesterday, and she had a very good tip of putting the sentiment in the background inside the shaker, and then on the back, but she put a magnet in it, so when you attached it to the box, you could actually twist it and take it off and use it, so you could put it on your fridge. And so if you want to see that, go back and look at Michelle's masterclass from yesterday's masterclass, because that was really good, and you'll learn how to make those shaker clear boxes as well, which is incredible. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the boards again. So these are beautiful. So first of all, I'm going to show you that fancy feather. Absolutely stunning. You're going to be using that time and time again. We've then got our scalloped shell, beautiful edgeable die that cuts down that edge of any side of card. The one that Corrine is going to be using is this beautiful one, is the dancer there. Then we've got our couple. So our dancing couple. Along with this collection, we've got the beautiful stamps. So our Together Forever, our Razor Glass, and we've also got the All That Jazz. Then we've got those beautiful sentiments, which really do encompass that whole Roaring Twenties feel. So beautiful stamp sets. We have embossing folders in this collection. So our Art Deco frame. This is our cut and emboss folder, which gives you that beautiful aperture detail. We've then got a 3D embossing folder, which is our floral deco. Beautiful designs. We have ribbons in this collection. So in all those different colours, 4 different colours of our organza. We have beautiful acetate sheets, which you're going to love. Really thick and great for construction. So absolutely beautiful designs. The paper pad is truly something everybody is going to love. It's got a foil, it's gold foiling, it's the most amazing rich colours with the most amazing sort of Art Deco Roaring Twenties feel about it. Beautiful designs, beautiful colourways, which you're going to absolutely love. And then we have a miniature paper pad in that collection, which is those 6x6 papers. And then no paper pads would be complete without the block colours. And you can see how all of these colours tie in with all the colours in the paper pad. And Corrine's going to be showing us exactly what we can be doing with these.
I am right now. I'm going to start using the scalloped shell. As said, this could potentially be a repeating die. So I had a look and thought, how can I make this a repeating die? Because what you've got is you've got the blade that cuts here and the blade that cuts here. So once this is cut, it would be hard to repeat. So I set myself a challenge to make it a repeating die. So I'm going to pop it onto the cardstock at the top. And as you can see, my card that I've cut is longer. So I'm going to get my plates, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my cardstock so that this bit here is off the edge of the plates. Really simple concept. So just tape it down so it can't move, and then you can see that this bit here can't cut into my cardstock because there will be no plates over the top of it. And then what we can do here is then put my next set of plates, come on, up, go down, there we go. They're going to go over the top. And again, make sure there's no plates over there. Then I'm going to offer it up to the machine. And the machine can only cut where there's that sandwich of plates. So by having that little bit poking out, it can't cut. So I've taken that across there. You can see, cut across there, and then it's cut, but it's not cut down here. So clean my die out, and then I can line it back up. So because it's symmetrical, I can line it back up to here, and then it will cut out the remainder. So make sure it's nicely lined up. Put some tape on. Now, what we don't want is we don't want that bit to cut. So all I'm going to do is repeat the process that we had before. So it's cut to there. So I'm just going to pop that bit just like that. And I'm just going to have a little bit poking out at the bottom. And hey presto, we've turned an ordinary die into a repeating die. So, you know, if you want to, you know, if you think to yourself, what is it? It's 6 inches long. But say you want your card to be 7 inches or 8 inches, like a DL sort, you can still get away with it. So when I then put that onto there, you can see that that now has repeated. Oh, look, those bits just went popping down there. There you go. You can see it's repeated beautifully down there without any problems. Now you'll probably see all this. We've got a nice fold over there because that is in fact going to be my card front. But you know, I've been able to make that. Look, get rid of that little bit of fluff. I've got a little thread. Get rid of that, and then beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Now we need to decorate that up, and all I've done to this one to finish it is I've just put a few little sequins on. Oh, one's popped off. We can pop that on, and I'm going to pop that on to make that into a card base. So I've got some of my gorgeous papers. So some of that lovely blue from the linen cardstock. You'll see I actually borrowed a bit of that to cut one of my feathers out of, and that's what I often do. You can't see it behind there. So we all do that, make the most of our cardstock by using it as much as we can. So that's going to go onto a piece of black. And you, again, black and gold Miri cardstock are going to be your two go-to additions to this collection. So I've put a piece of red liner tape onto here, pop that one on there, and then pop that into there. And straight away we've now made ourselves a card blank. There we are. Isn't that gorgeous to really show off that detail? So we now need to decorate the front. So the easiest bit to decorate the front would be to put some cardstock on first. Isn't it beautiful? I just love how the colours just run across. And again, like I say, you're going to pick up blacks, golds. It's going to work either way. Absolutely beautiful. So we can pop that onto our card base. So that's going to be nicely drying while I do the rest of my card. So just activate that glue with the heat from your hand. Just make sure everything's sticking down. And I'm going to pop that towards that one could almost be a bit oriental if you've got some oriental kits, so it's entirely up to you. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I've just got a piece of cream card. We don't tend to use cream that much, but I do love this. And I'm going to take my Art Deco frame. Now, this is a cut and emboss frame, and you know that because it's got the foam in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my card in here, which I've already trimmed down to size. It's 6 by 4. I go to just under 6 by just under 4, and then I'm going to take this. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my magnetic shim, and then we can pop that into here. Now, if you feel that your cardstock gets a little bit creased, then just turn the embossing folder around. Oh, I've gone too thick. I should have done that. Let's go back the other way. I should have swapped out. There we go. Every machine's slightly different. At home, mine does that. I'm going to swap it out. Let's just go in like that. So it's just like a regular 2D embossing folder, and see where we go from there. Every machine is slightly different. There, that's a lot happier. Lot happier. Did you see how the machine just stopped because I've got too many plates in there? And then we can open it out. Oh, perfect. There we go. And look at that. Can you see all of that embossed detail?
Beautiful.
Really lovely. So I think we need to enhance that, and we're going to do that with some ink and some gilding wax, which I've got on here. So I've got my Oasis and I've got my Parakeet, and I'm going to go in first with my Oasis. There we go. We can pop that in, and I'm going to go all over with my Oasis. Just popping that on. So I'm going to let that sort of go through a little bit so it slightly colours up the cream. But I just think cream can be a little bit softer than white and just gives you a softer look. And there's no white on my cards, so, you know, the cream works brilliantly. Once we've gone in with the Oasis, we can then pick up a little bit of the Parakeet and come around the edges just to darken it. The Oasis and the Parakeet in our water reactives work so well together, and they just pick up the colours from that cardstock beautifully. So blend that together, and then let's go in with a little bit of gilding wax. Remember, less is definitely more with your gilding wax. Ring finger every time because you press so much lighter. And I just want to give it a hint of gilding on the embossed image. There we go. So we can put that on here. There, just like that.
Really enhances that.
It does, doesn't it? Doesn't that look beautiful? So you can see it ages it, sort of a little bit vintage, but looks beautiful. Now, again, I wanted to create a frame. So what I did here is I got a piece of gold and I laid my die cut on top. And can you see the pencil line? I just drew around the pencil line and then just cut inside that. So that when I now put this onto here, you see I've got a perfect frame.
Very
really nice. Easy to do. Really easy. Oh, I like that one. I've got a little bit more blue on that one, so let's use that one. And then I can put my glue on the back of here. Will work absolutely perfect. And that's going to go on to here like that, and then you can see I've got that perfect frame both inside and outside, and then that is going to go on to my card base just there. Aren't these colours absolutely beautiful? So a little bit of foam tape. We're not making a shaker card, so we don't need to make sure the foam creates a complete seal. So we can just pop that on here. Now I am going to put this one on nice and square because I think it works for this. But look at that, really enhancing. So the final little bit I need to do, a couple of bits I've got, is I'm going to, where are they up? Oh, there she is. I've got my All That Jazz, that beautiful, beautiful lady. So if I get my piece of Nina card, you see, I always write, when I get all my little bits ready for my demos, I always write on it whether it's Nina or multi-purpose, just that I use the right piece. Put her onto the rocker block. Then we're going to use our alcohol-proof ink pad. Now, if you want to use your watercolour pens, then just make sure you use your waterproof ink pad too. Or if you want to go in with like your sparkle pens, because those would work. Now, we can then stamp this on here. Now, there aren't any dies to cut these out, but I can promise you they are really easy to cut out. So you can come in with that, and then you can come in with your pens and start to colour her in. So let's just do a little bit. We can come round her skin just like this. Now, all of this has been thought about when they have been putting these together. They've thought about how easy they're going to be able to colour, all those techniques that you will have learnt on your colouring journey. Doesn't matter if I go a bit over the edges on here because I'm going to colour in her dress in a minute. So just think all those techniques that you will have learnt on how to add light and shade and, you know, your texture and your detail. So I've gone in first with my palest colour. Ooh,
Such a beautiful stamp, this
It is, isn't it? She's so elegant, isn't she?
Love her.
Then we can come in and add a little bit of shading just around here. And then the straps of her dress is going to be shading. It's going to be, you know, add highlight round her dress. So just add in the highlight. And then on her arm, where she's got the crease of her elbow, and then obviously under her dress, and I would do a little bit round her hand, and then the final little bit just under her hair, just like that. There we go. Just add in that final little bit, and then you can just blend those all together just to give you the perfect blend. Now, I looked through my colours. If you are going in with these, your BT colours are good. Your blue turquoise are going to give you the perfect colour combination. And I know I'm jumping a bit on, but look at that. Just following all the things that you will have learnt on, isn't that absolutely beautiful? And just cut out the detail. The only little bit that was a little bit tricky was to cut around inside a hand. But do you know what? After I'd done that, I suddenly thought to myself, do you know what? That would have been easy just to have left, but it's entirely up to you. Final one I want to just quickly cut out is our feather. This is our beautiful, beautiful fancy feather, and you will love this. I still stand by, this is going to appear on nearly every one of your projects with this collection. So pop that through. Can you see how everything works together? I've used so many elements from the scallop. We bring in the card base while we're waiting for that to come through. We've got the scalloped edge, we've got the embossing folder, we've got the papers, you know, we've got our lovely lady from the All That Jazz, and now we've got our feather too. So, you know, everything works really beautifully. And then just poke out all those little bits. There we go. This is quite a thick black card, so it's just held on. It's cut them, but it's just held them into those little die cuts. Just, oh, there, I was poking out the wrong bit there. There we go. So absolutely gorgeous. And you can see straight away how they're going to work together. So I've got a couple more cut just here. I've also heat embossed one of the sentiments, the happy birthday. So let's get our lady, and we're going to pop her. I think a little bit of 3D glue is going to work perfectly. Pop that on there, just to raise it coming through that frame. We can pop her just there. Doesn't that look lovely? Then we're going to take our feathers. We're going to come in again with a little bit more of our glue. I'm going to pop that one. Let's just go the other way, I think, like that. And then I'm going to come in with this one. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to do that as a drop shadow. Just pop that one on there. Always changing my mind as I'm going. It's never final until it's stuck down. And then I want my little sentiment with a foam pad on the back. That's going to go just like that. And we can pop that on just here. Or I could have popped it up here. It's entirely up to you. And the final bit, using those lovely ribbons that you're going to get, I have just tied myself a little bow, and that is absolutely gorgeous. And that just screams Roaring Twenties. Oh, don't forget, I've added a few sequins in as well.
Absolutely stunning. I'm glad you mentioned the sequins, because the boards I was showing you earlier, you do get 2 additional items in there. They're the pack of sequins, and you get your glue with your gilding flakes as well, which is amazing. So this really is a beautiful collection. A few samples which are just stunning, absolutely gorgeous. One there, oh, pulling that over, let's just move that up. So beautiful sample there using those feathers. And then I have to show you this one here. Look at this, with lights in a box. Absolutely stunning. Now you're going to love this collection. You can see this here. Absolutely a huge collection, a real full collection that is just full of the Roaring Twenties. So let's have a look and see who's on with us today. So morning everyone, Cheryl's saying good morning. This is the collection of 2023. That's a bold statement, a roaring statement, that one is. But you never know, it could be, who knows. It is a great collection. She said, oh, so Cheryl, you're saying that you're late this morning. When does it launch? It launches on Hobby Maker on Tuesday the 14th, and with our Corinne, and it launches with our Sara on Wednesday the 15th here on Crafters TV. Paul is in this morning. Morning, Paul. He's saying brilliant collection, definitely a must-have. We'll be ordering on Wednesday with those extra papers. Absolutely. I think if there's anything you want to go for, it's the extra papers, and I'm genuinely worried. I think the paper pad is just going to sell out in no time at all. Jacqueline is on this morning saying, how do you know where to add shading? So I'm going to throw that one to Corrine.
Right, so basically shading is all about where the light hits. So if we come back to this one and then we have a look. So you can see I've added a little bit where her hairline is just there. Oh, coming in close, that's our judge, well done. So you can see I've added a bit here. And then, because she's got straps on her dress, can you see, if you think about it, they're going to add a little bit of highlight here. And again, the crook of her arm. So this arm is going to shade here, and then her dress is going to add a little bit of shading to her arm there. So it's all about where there's almost like an overlap. That's how I look at it. If there's something hanging over, then on her skin it's going to add a little bit more shading. And then with her dress, we just put the shading in to add in all the pleats.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Hopefully it helps. So really, anywhere where you think there would be natural shading, go and look at something. So you will see if it's got something at the back, then it will be beautiful, and you will sort of see all those different shading. Sarah Brown is saying, stunning card, Corrine, absolutely beautiful. Lots of you in this morning on this Sunday. Let us know what you're up to and what you're doing. I'm just going to have a quick flick through the boards again so we can see exactly what you are getting in this beautiful collection. The first thing in this collection that we're getting, it's the Roaring Twenties, is the fancy feather, which Corrine has been using. We've then got our scalloped shell, another really beautiful one. We've got our Charleston couple, love that one, absolutely gorgeous. Then our showgirl. So all these glorious designs in the dies are amazing. What I do love about this collection more than anything is the amazing stamps that you're getting. So we've got our Together Forever, really gorgeous design. We've got our razor glass, so there's something for everyone in here. And as Lillian was saying earlier, it's 100 years ago, all that jazz. That's the one that Corrine just used. How is it possible that we're still bringing these beautiful designs? Because the Roaring Twenties really were beautiful designs. I love all these, the stamps that we're getting on these. There's so many different elements on here, whether it's just a note or whether it's your birthday wishes. It's something for everyone. What's that one say? It says, have a roaring good time. I love that one. Beautiful. Then we've got embossing folders. We've got that cut and emboss folder. We've also got the beautiful floral deco, which is that gorgeous design on there. You're getting ribbons in this collection, as well as sequins, as well as that glitter glue, and not the glitter glue, gilding flakes glue, and the gilding flakes as well. And then the paper pad, which I think is the showstopper in itself. The beautiful paper pad, you can see straight away just looking at that. But even the B side, what we class as a B side, look at the, I mean, the shimmer in that is unbelievable. These are beautiful papers you're going to be using time and time again. They are going to be papers that you'll want to keep as well, because they're so hard to use if you haven't got a spare one. So you'll want to be multiple ordering those paper pads. All those different designs, those real art deco, those swirls, those just beautiful elements in there. And what I love about these are the deep colours that you're getting, those real sort of jades and turquoises and just amazing colours. The depth in there is incredible. You then get in the 6x6 paper pad, which comes in the miniature form of the bigger one, and then you're getting those solid colours, so those plums, really deep sort of colours, the plums, the greens, the purples, the navies, all such a beautiful collection. And our Corrine is going to show you exactly what to do with this collection next.
Yes, we're going to use, I've tried to do it, I planned out 3 demos, so I tried to do it so that we went across nearly the whole range. So this time, look at this, we've got to talk about the, what you call, gilded embossing, no, think about it, the gilded acetate, that's the one, the foiled acetate. Get it there eventually. Couldn't think of my words. Absolutely beautiful. Look at this. And as we were saying earlier, 350 GSM. So that is the back, so you can really see on there. And this works so well with this embossing folder. I showed you a lovely sample from this earlier. And we're going to use this first. Now, we always say, if you want to die cut as well as emboss, you must die cut first. So if I had have embossed a whole piece of paper, 4x6 on here, or 6x4, and then tried to cut out a circle, all I would have done was flatten some of that emboss. Now this is a 3D embossing folder. 3D embossing folder means it's really embossing to the highest depth. So I've cut my circle first. You don't need to see how we cut circles, just a regular die. I will get the plates right this time. Clear cutting plate, magnetic shim, plastic shim. This is the only time you will see a plastic shim on the outside of your plate combination, because we normally say to you, don't have your plastic shim on the outside because of the pressure. With a 3D embossing folder, you do. So we can open this out, lift this up, and then, wow, look at that. Can you see? So you've got different heights of embossing, so it really does look beautiful. So all I'm going to do is, I've got 2 ink pads. I have got my Midnight, and I've also got my Gold Midas as well. And I'm just going to pick up some of the ink. Let's blend it onto my mat, and then I'm just going to work over that one.
I love Midnight.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Dark. I always like to go a little bit dark around the edges and just a little bit paler in the middle. But once we've done that, I'm then just going to... Now, you could do this with gilding wax, but I just thought ink also works really, really well. So you can just pick up some of that detail in the gold as well, just like that. I'll pick that up. I think actually I might get, I've seen I've got some out. I might as well. That isn't going as goldy as I wanted to, whether that ink pad isn't as juicy as the one I had at home. But then I can just pick up a bit, and then I can just go over that detail. Let's go over that detail with a little bit of gilding wax. That's coming up more of the reaction I wanted. So we can even come round the edges as well. There we are. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? That's just how I wanted it to look now. So you can see we've really added all of that detail. Absolutely beautiful. So the last bit that I need to die cut, this is going to come together lovely and quickly. Let's move these out of the way, is our gorgeous Charleston couple. There we go. Look at these together doing that amazing dance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out of the blue. So we use, you know, I just decided to use a little bit of this blue, and we can pick that up and then just tape that down. We need to get all of our plates back together this time then. So we've got them all now, and we can run that through just there. Now, what I've also done is I've cut it again out of gold mirroring. But what I did was I put masking tape on the back. And the reason I put masking tape on was to almost make it too thick to cut. So when you look at this one, you can see all of the little bits have popped out. But by putting the gilding masking tape on the back, the die didn't quite cut through the masking tape. So you can see the little bits have stayed in. So that means that when we then pop, I need to do a little bit of glue just to make it stick. Let's put a little bit of glue on there. Tap some of that off so I only got the smallest hint. Then when we put that on, so you're almost making the die fail, if that's the right word. So it didn't quite cut. And then when we pop it as a drop shadow, the slightest drop shadow, can you see how that detail now comes back through there? So just a little tip, that if you want to create your matte layer, just add an extra piece, and you know, like the masking tape acts like a little bit of a shim. And then when you put them on top of there, it's almost like a spotlight, isn't it? So it
Great
really...
tip, that one. I love that tip.
There we go. So what we've got here now is, oh, let me just dry that off because it's a little bit damp where I've just wiped it. I've got a cloth. Yeah, there we go. Get my cloth. There we are. So, piece of cardstock. So I wanted my card 6-inch card. So I just did it with an extra 1.5 on the top. And then we're going to use one of those gorgeous papers. Now I've picked one that's not too busy, and I've also edged around the edge with one of my navy pens, just to get rid of any white lines that you can see, because sometimes when you're cutting your papers you see a white edge. So I just edged it with the navy just to get rid of that. and then that's going to go on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in this foil. So I'm going to pop that on there. So what I've done is I've put the tape at the top just there, and then at the bottom of this flap. So when you pop this on, let's make sure that's nice and straight to my card, just there. That will now tape one there and one at the bottom. And then we've got one here, so we've got tape on the bottom again, and then we've got tape just there, and then we can pop this on just here. Let's line that up. There we go. We can pop that one on there, and that lines up. So we've almost got like a floating element. So I've got a couple of bits of more of decorative paper, so we can pop one on. So these should be the exact fits, exactly the same. Where are we? What have I got? I've got one. Yeah, I've just got some little gems on there. So little sequins to act as gems. One at the top, one at the bottom. Good job I put them that way round. And then I've got some gold mirror and some of that navy. Now I've put some tape on there, so what's going to happen is I put one piece of tape to catch on the top and one piece to catch in the middle, and it will, but we've got 350 GSM cardstock, acetate. Look at that, it's not bending. You know, sometimes you put acetate in and it bends. That acetate is stronger than my card.
It's so amazing, that acetate, isn't it? Yeah, you've got to get that to believe it. So yeah, when you get it, you'll love it.
Let's put that a little bit off centre, and then we can pop this on to here. Wet glue does work well behind embossed images. We can pop that on to there. Then we can get our gorgeous couple with the lovely drop shadow. And then they're going to pop on here. And then the final bit I did was from the stamps, I just took the Celebrate. Just got the Celebrate, and then we can pop that onto here. Oh, I'll tell you what I had done is I had cut out some more feathers just in case you wanted to use them. Do I want to use my feathers? Do I not? I think I might. I've cut them out, so I'm going to use them. It'd be a shame not to. So we can then just pop them. I cut so much out and then I forget what I've cut out. I really do.
It's because there's so many beautiful elements to use, isn't there?
They are absolutely gorgeous. Oh, that's just slipping a little bit. Let's put it back where we want it. There we go. Lift up my Celebrate. I could really do with putting that to dry for a minute. But then we can pop that on there. There we go. And how about that? I'm going to turn that around. So again, a very different look. But we have used feathers all the way through. I'm not going to lie. Should we have a look at what we've done and we can do a quick vote?
Absolutely stunning, that one. I think it's so beautiful. I've loved every one of Corrine's cards.
They've been different, haven't they?
They've been very different, yes, but you out there have to have a vote. So we're going to give you just a minute to act on these. So number them up for us, please, Corrine.
There we go. Right, the first one with a little bit of white cardstock. You know, don't be afraid to use your white. We've got our hanging lady there. That was a showgirl, wasn't it? So we've got her on there. Then we've got our beautiful little bit of colouring and that embossing frame around the outside for number 2. And for number 3, we've got our Charleston couple. 3, 2, or 1. Ooh. With the shaker. Forgot to say it's got the shaker as well.
I like
I don't know.
It's very Alice, and 2 in the gallery. Number 3 is nice. Honestly, it's going to be a really close one. 1, 2 or 3. You've got about a minute to get your votes in, and we'll see who's won that card of the show. I'm just going to go through these boards again to show you exactly what you will be getting. This set is available on Tuesday on Hobby Maker and Wednesday on Crafters TV. So you've got our beautiful showgirl there, a really gorgeous design die. You've got our Charleston couple, so doing that beautiful dance. nice. Scalloped edge, which is that edgeable, another really nice one that you're going to be using on so many different designs of concept cards. You've got your fancy feather, and as Corinne's shown, she's been using it throughout the demos. That is going to be your go-to die, I think, whether it's with this collection or any others. We've got all that jazz, the amazing stamp sets that we've got here with not just the images, but also those sentiments that you've got to use. And there's 3 different types there and are together forever. Another stamp set which has got all those sentiments on, which show so many different ones. I love the configuration of these, the way they really do scream out that roaring 20s. That acetate that Corinne was just using is absolutely beautiful. You're going to be using that in so many different projects. There's embossing folders in this collection, so you've got that Art Deco frame, which is that cut and emboss folder with the aperture. You've then got your floral deco, which has got a really gorgeous design. You're getting ribbons in this collection, you're getting sequins, and you are getting your glue and gilding flakes as well, gold gilding flakes. You've then got your solid colours, so those real deep, impactful colours that you've got on there in those 4 different colourways to go beautifully with these paper pads. Now with the paper pads, you are getting your 6x6 and your 12x12, and you can see that they are just a miniature version, your 6x6, but the paper pad itself is stunning. You're going to be doing so much with that. I think this is the paper pad that is going to sell out very quickly. I think it's also because people are going to be taking extra paper pads, so they haven't got to use one because there are so many beautiful papers to use in that one. Right, I'm just waiting for, we have a demo of the show. Number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, there we go.
There we
all
go.
the blues.
That
Thank
was
you
George's
so much.
first choice, number 2, and absolutely beautiful. There's only 3 to choose, but George got number 2. He said number 2. He had 2 go, 2 or 3. He was going to get one right, wasn't he? Lots of people joined us this morning. Thank you so much. Gigi is saying another great tip from you, Corinne. You're always full of them. Dawn is saying this could be her new favourite collection. She's loved so many as well. Alison's saying the acetate would make great boxes. Yes, absolutely. Anne is saying lovely card, Corinne. Sara's saying I hate having to vote when all the cards are so gorgeous. I think that summed up how I was feeling. How do you vote for those? But you did. Number 2, that will go on our shelves till later on. Please come back because Corinne is our last TV expert up of the week. We've had our Loved Craft event where we've had one of us in every single day doing what we love to do. Corinne, you've got personalisation.
I certainly have. We're going to be doing all things personalisation, whether it's names or just making it, sentiments that are relevant to the person that you love or you're sending your projects to. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
I can't wait. It's going to be a great show. So join us back at 2 o'clock. We will see you then. Go and have some nice dinner. We're going to have a nice roast dinner. So we'll see you then. Bye.